Welcome to the Mounting Block. I'm Oriel.
And I'm Marissa.
We're here to inspire each other and, of course, you, our listeners, as we navigate the wild ride of rediscovering our love for horses while juggling work, kids, businesses, and a million other things.
From tackling fears to finding time in between school drop-offs, spilt snacks, business meetings, and marriage, we're here to share the laughs, the lessons, and the occasional mishap in the saddle.
So grab a coffee, a wine, maybe even a lead rope if you're game, and join us for honest, uninterrupted conversations, a bit of mum life mayhem, and a whole lot of encouragement.
This is the Mounting Block. Let's get a leg over and join us for the ride. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
We have had a big week, haven't we?
You have had a massive week.
I have been riding a lot of different horses.
You have.
I've been
Andalusians.
Andalusians.
Gypsy
Cob. Clydesdale.
There
was another one in there, but I just can't remember.
Was that quarter horse?
There was going to be a warm blood, but I didn't get on that warm blood because that warm blood was cray.
Not very calm.
Cray. And such different horses too, right? So one of them was so green, i.e. didn't have any training, so trying to get him to move forward was like a mammoth effort. And after half an hour of riding him, which was just walking and trotting, I felt like I had done a full body workout.
Yeah, it's
so
exhausting.
Absolutely exhausted. And he was so beautiful, but he just didn't have any buttons.
Yeah.
Didn't know his buttons yet. So, and I'm not a good enough rider to train those buttons
Yet.
And then I went on the other extreme end of the scale where I rode a horse that was so sensitive to the buttons that I couldn't get it to trot. It would only canter. And I didn't know what to do with that. And it was like my entire toolkit was out the window and I was like a baby rider again.
What do you do?
What do you do if you can't use your legs when you're riding? Yeah. I mean, this might be like a very easy question for an experienced rider, but for us, we're so used to using our legs to move a horse forward. I mean, I couldn't even not even tap, like any sort of muscle movement on this horse made him go forward. Yeah. So he was amazingly well trained to the rider that had been riding him the last 4 years. Yeah. But for me, I was like, wow, this is too much. Yeah. Which was a real shame because he was just an absolute like beautiful, calm, gorgeous horse.
Boy,
yeah, he really was. So
and
that
was great.
And he was grey. That was a hard decision to say no to, but in my gut, I knew it was the right one. And I think when it comes to this, we just have to trust our gut so
100%,
much, right?
100%.
Yeah. I was trying to explain it to my husband about, it's like if you got a new driver in golf and you were holding your hands a certain way and you were swinging a certain way and then you've been told to completely change that and you have to form all of those new habits. And he was like, oh, I get it.
Very clever you.
So if I talk in golf analogies, it's understanded.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a wild ride. But anyway, got some others to keep going and looking at. Keeping on. Yeah.
It's tough though. It is tough.
I mean, it's fun in the sense I'm getting to ride lots of different horses and push my skill set sort of beyond what I have had to do for a while.
Yeah. But it's a roller coaster.
It's such a roller coaster.
Emotionally invested.
I know. And I get so excited about going to see them. Like, this could be the one. And then no. Yeah. But anyway.
But no more topless or pantsless people this week?
No, not this week. No,
that was last week.
No
so
nudie Rudies.
If you missed that episode, go back and listen.
Yes. No nudie Rudies this week. Thank goodness. But you had, oh my gosh, you just had the most amazing lesson today. And I'm so proud of you. So I need you to talk about it.
Gosh. So for those of you who've been listening to the podcast, you'll know that I'm absolutely terrified. And when I say terrified, I mean terrified of cantering over poles, which sounds ridiculous because it's supposed to just be part of their canter stride. But Laney's a jumper and Laney would jump these. He would speed up into the poles and then he would jump them. And he probably wasn't going as fast as I thought he was, but he was still going fast.
It felt fast. And he's 17 hands high.
It's only 7. It's a long way to fall.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our beautiful coach set up all of these poles and we just trotted over them and I thought that's what we were going to do, but no.
False sense of security.
Said, I'll just take a little bit of break, and then she told you that you could help her move the poles, and as soon as I saw them getting wider, I was like, oh, no.
You knew?
Oh, no. I knew. But then it was but she didn't even give me time to think. But like I thought we might talk about it. And she was like, no, put it into canter, go on, over there, over that. And he just did so well.
You did amazingly.
I wasn't terrified.
No, your face was just absolute determination. Yeah. I could tell, I knew just by knowing you that you were like, oh my gosh. Oh, no. But then you just had to concentrate so much. You almost didn't have time to really think about your fear, right?
Well, I was thinking about not doing the things that would make him, like I've got to trust him. And when he did the occasional times, he did speed up a little bit. I wasn't scared. And that's such a big, big step.
Yeah.
It's a big step.
You've got to ride high on that. Yeah. You've got to really remember that because, the good, you've got to remember the good.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's sped up and sometimes he hasn't. So let's think more about the sometimes.
But sometimes he hasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't.
And then the other thing I think you learned today, we were talking about it afterwards, was that while he may feel like he's going faster, what we saw today was him actually just lengthening his canter.
Yeah.
And so it's like a bigger canter, but it's not necessarily faster.
It's just a longer
It's just longer. So you had to work on keeping his canter tighter to do the right amount of strides before he was popping over. So it wasn't just poles on the ground. She elevated one on both sides. So you were jumping over about a 25 centimetre, 30 sort of bar at the end of poles, and that's full on because the horse has to do the right amount of strides in between. They have to be ready. He has to be onto what he's doing with his feet. A couple of times he was tapping because he was like lazy with his back foot. One time he tripped, he stumbled, and I thought, oh no, is she going down? No. But he collected. Yeah. But you just did so amazingly well.
I'm still on a high. It was only a few hours ago that we did this, but it was just getting to the point where that was not that scary.
Yeah,
it was a little bit scary, but not like I was.
And you screamed at the end. You were, which is amazing. It's so cute.
I think the coach thinks it's hilarious.
No, I think she loves it. I think she loves it because she can see what it's doing for you and that you're overcoming these obstacles in your own mind because he's more than capable of doing them. And it's you overcoming your own, obstacles and your own fear and, bit by bit getting over it.
So this is why we need to find you a horse sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I know. I've got to keep up. Yeah.
Well, you can jump. I can't jump. So
it still cracks me up you say that. I could jump.
I've never jumped. All of this stuff that I'm doing now, you don't need to do it. So when you come in with your horse, then hopefully I'll be able to keep up with you.
Oh, let's go with that. That's very kind of you. We'll see. I'm all confident in my head.
But now we've got a fabulous guest to introduce you to.
Yeah, let's chat about Anna.
So Anna Whitlam is going to come talk to us.
Amazing.
Oh my God, she's incredible. She's just an inspiration. She's an absolute powerhouse and she's just strong and beautiful and clever, and she's built a massive business, sold it to an American company, a big American management consultancy firm, and is building another company now. She's just brilliant. Can't wait to introduce her.
And where does she live?
Melbourne.
Lovely.
So she's coming to us online. So let's bring her in.
Fabulous. Let's bring in Anna.
And here she is. Anna, welcome. I'm so excited to be chatting to you.
I'm always excited to be chatting to you. And now I've got double.
You've got double.
I've got double trouble.
Well, which is even more exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking, and I was trying to think the other day, do you remember when we met?
I do.
You remember exactly when?
I do. We met in Singapore a very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember the first meeting I had with you. I can't remember what hotel it was at, but I think I met you at the Marriott in Orchard.
Yep.
And you'll get this, Marissa, because she rocked up and I'm like, oh my goodness, like absolutely stunning.
Total bombshell. What a babe.
Bombshell, that's it. In this beautiful, you were wearing, I can still see you.
Oh my God.
A beautiful linen dress. You were so like you were made up because I think you'd come off air.
Come off air, probably, yes.
Straight to me, and your hair was done. I'm like, oh my God. But your smile was bigger than her, and you were just the most beautiful human being. And I was just instantly like, I will do whatever I can to support whatever you need to do. Not because you're absolutely amazing, but because you're such a good human. And then we started talking about your show, and this is what you do. And then what you did was said to me, Anna, why don't you come on my show?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
And what did you talk about on that show?
The business. We talked
Business.
about the business.
The employment. I think we were
Employment
talking about the
market.
employment market. Yeah. And the shifts.
Yeah.
Because of what was happening.
And I think I kind of forced you because I don't think you really wanted to. This is why we're such good friends now. We've been through the ringer.
I knew that it was it was a great, incredible opportunity, Marissa. And I've got, like most of us, really deep set insecurities. And what I've managed to do in my career and my life, and Oriel knows a lot about this, is to create a facade that allows me to function, essentially. But then when I'm exposed, which is in a situation of stress, I find it really hard to actually just be who I
be yourself.
Am. Yeah. And in fact, we all have the answers, and I know I have the answers. And I mean, the crazy thing is that what Oriel was giving me was an opportunity to actually share my knowledge, which I know is very good because I've been doing this for 30 years, but I really struggle in these situations where you are in front of an audience and you're thinking on your feet, and so it was hard, but it was a wonderful opportunity, and she coached me through it, and
you did amazing. You were amazing.
And Anna, I don't think you're alone in that, right? I think so many people, the fear of talking in front of others and it's not a natural thing for a lot of people. And I think you're right. I think there's a lot of facade that needs to go on, but people maybe aren't able to articulate that or as well as what you just have. So it's really interesting for you to sort of, say, look, I can do it. But when you get more and more stressed, it breaks down that facade, and I can totally appreciate that. Did you find it? Have you found it? It's been easier as you've gotten older, or has that been harder?
So, that's such a good question, and I know it's a good question. It's a timely question. Two things: it's not become easier. However, I know much more about myself. So these are the wonderful, wonderful things that happen when we age. And only if I knew then what I know now,
so much.
I just want desperately to be the old person at 25, to be who I am with my knowledge and wisdom at an earlier age. So I've just finished, and I've shared a lot of this with Oriel, my master's in change, but essentially it's psychodynamics and behavioural economics, and what all of that means. And I did it in Singapore because of my interest in cultures and our abilities to understand each other or not, or our biases, in that sense as well. What I didn't know was that, in fact, I'd signed up for this master's, which was very hard to get into. So it took, quite a few hurdles to get in, just applications and interviews and different bits and pieces, nothing hard other than that. But I realised when I started, oh my God, this is actually about myself. So the first year, it was 2.5 years, the first year of the program is actually self. And if you understand yourself, then how do you understand others? And then the understanding of self took me on a very deep journey that uncovered quite a difficult start to life, which meant that I had suppressed a lot of trauma, which I managed to cover up by creating my own armor, essentially, or facade. And if I can control everything in the way that my facade shows up, then I'm safe. But if I get surprised by something in a situation, then I feel like I'm standing naked in the street. And I retreat. And interesting, given the program and how you guys have come together and my own journey, but horses were my survival tool. So I couldn't read or write. I had very bad dyslexia as a child and was at boarding school. I mean, it was hell. Awful. Because I didn't have a secure base and all these sorts of things. But I had a horse, And so my horse was my best friend. And my horse also showed me that if you work really hard at something, then you will see outcomes. You see your benefits of your own coordination and fitness, but also of the relationship with the horse and then what you can achieve together.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then started doing competition and winning things, and then the positive reinforcement that I got for myself and my effort actually was a game changer in my life, and so that, I mean, this is a long way of sort of saying that I didn't actually connect the dots in those days, though. I've only just connected the dots.
Of course. And you need to also have the time to retrospectively look back and look at the dots to connect. It's not often people have that opportunity that you've got, with that master's to look so introspectively and take that time to go through that process, right?
I mean, the thing about this program is that it's an executive master's, which means that it's on campus. So you have to commit to being on campus, for every module, which goes over a weekend, which will often be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 8 modules over 2 years, plus all of the coursework and the meetings in between. And they are deep, really, really tough, very long days, where you are going through and you're with other professionals. So that's the other thing too, that everybody is like, oh my, what is going on? This is actually like you're actually rebuilding yourself or turning yourself inside out. So
wow. My
knowledge now, I think both academically but also from a self-understanding perspective, is where it needs to be. It's the next bit that actually is, how do I then use that to actually help myself overcome some of my fears and bring, and here we go again, this is so weird, because I just listened to that I Am Jenny, the wonderful, incredible woman who's got the 2,000 or so altars that actually helped her survive through a really horrendous...
I haven't seen it. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I've listened to the podcast and I've watched the documentary, but this sounds a little bit like that, but I promise you it's not. My issues are certainly not what this poor woman has endured. But I feel like it's two people, so you've got the self that is super insecure and very uncomfortable and can't speak, can't read, can't write, can't do all these things. And then there's the person that I created as a survival mechanism. And the minute that it becomes disaligned, it struggles because it doesn't know how to actually continue to be itself because the other one wants to come up.
Wants to take over.
I think it's so important, and thank you. I know that we're only just starting our conversation, but thank you for being so vulnerable because, from the outside in, if you look at Anna Whitlam, you look at who you are, you're incredibly successful. You've done amazingly well on your own in business. You're an entrepreneur. You started your business. You built it up with others, of course, but it's on you. It's always on you. You were solo, and you did this. You sold this amazing business to a US management consultancy, no less, like the top of the mountain. You went straight up there, and you've done more. Now you're building another business, and you've done obviously the study that you've just been talking about. But from the outside in, if I just looked at that, I was like, oh my God, like
what an accomplished, amazing. She must be so confident. And
I think it's beautiful that we can sit here and talk about it wasn't easy and it's not easy and I'm not that confident, but yet I can still achieve. Do you know what I mean? You can be vulnerable so that the people that are listening, whether they're career individuals or whether they're not, it's about understanding that we all go through these struggles. They might not be the same, but it doesn't make it easy just because you've done it.
Yeah. I think that is, I think that's real. I think, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had this conversation to that point because I've now come a long way with my own self-development. And I think that we don't know what we don't know, but we know when something's not quite right. And I think that you have to have enough I don't know if confidence is the right word, but you have to have the
self-awareness.
Self-awareness to actually decide that you're going to act on that to continue to learn and discover how you can be your best self. And I as Oriel knows, I've spoken about this a lot, I have the most extraordinary husband. Like, I mean, he's actually my best friend, so I have to be really, you know, who knows so much about me. And when I have these realizations, will say to me, yeah, Anna, I mean,
Yeah. Duh.
I know the person that I married, but at the same time, who's kind of been on this journey. So a lot of the stuff that I have done to help get myself here is actually not easy. And you do have to be in a world that provides the support. And I know that a lot of people don't have that, you know, so I'm not ever going to judge anyone else. I do feel that I have been blessed in many ways, you know, that, you know, participating in master's programs is very expensive. They're not easy. You know, there's all these things that I've done. And there's another side too that I think is really important just to appreciate. And I've spoken to Oriel about this too, because this is part of my thesis that I'm presenting on Tuesday, I might add.
Oh,
good luck.
For that, which is my last point for my master's program. But is that often the driver to be able to demonstrate that I can do things and that I'm not that stupid child that can't read or write, it takes over. And so the persona takes over and drives the human that sits beneath it into the ground and leads to significant burnout, which has impacted me a number of different times throughout my career. You know, as Oriel knows, I've had cancer previously. I've had a lot of health issues, and I am 100% sure through my own study and knowledge bank over the years that that's largely been driven by my obsession to achieve.
Yeah.
Which means at all costs.
Pressure, stress.
Yeah. No sleep.
Yeah.
And what was driving you for internally to achieve what you were set out to do? What was it that made you get up every day and work that hard and drive forward that hard?
Yeah. It's an intolerable anxiety around failure. Like you know, when I try to verbalize it, it's almost like there's no worse place that you can be in. It's like death. It's like dropping off. I can't cope. And so what happens is that we calm our anxiety by doing things rather than sitting in it and breathing. As my son keeps telling me, Mom, seriously, TikTok keeps telling me to box breathe. Can you get with the program?
Thank you, TikTok.
If only we had TikTok, you know, to get through our lives. How did we get this far?
Seriously. I'm like, I've known about box breathing before you were even born. But anyway.
No, TikTok created everything.
Exactly. But I try to manage myself, my calm, by doing. That's how, you know, and so for me, I'm not the person that is in bed, you know, and there are people that have terrible, you know, anxiety that doesn't allow them to actually get up and do things. And yes, I am a procrastinator in other ways, but my superpower but greatest weakness is that I just can't stop.
Isn't it funny that it's one and the same?
Yeah.
It's a superpower.
And it damages
Yeah, and it is a weakness. So is this part of what made you decide to go over to Singapore and go to INSEAD and do this additional work on top of everything else that you were doing? Is that what drove you to do it?
Only because it's you. Sorry. There are a couple of things. So I wanted to prove it. I've got a lot of voices in my head, like we all do. And
we all do, yeah.
A number of people in my life that, you know, have always seen me as the failure. And so there was this desire to outwardly prove that I could do a master's, like a postgraduate master's, and that, you know, I'm too scared to say it, but I am hoping that I get an honours for it. This is hard too. So I just.
Well, you've put it out to the ether, you know.
I put it out a few times, but I'm also really pleased with what I have done. Like if every single assignment, I kind of go, you know what, I did.
Done a good job.
Done a great job. They're brilliant papers. I've learned a huge amount. I've shared a lot of it.
It's funny though, Anna, because just as what part of what we're talking about, like you could have just stayed at home and done an online version of something, but you didn't do that. You went to a different country that you had to study in a different country, not in your home environment, over the course of a long period of time. Like that is time, that's money, that's mental energy, emotional space. And you went to INSEAD, you know, the top institution when it comes to these kind of courses. So you didn't take any easy routes, you know, in going down this journey.
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
You're going to do it.
That's a big part of your mantra, right?
It is. And I paid for it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay for it, you're going to do it. You know, so I had a particularly difficult couple of years exiting from the firm that I sold my business to. And I had a lot of aha moments. And this is getting back to the original question of the why. I had a lot of aha moments during that phase that really, like, quite compelling. It's not about work. It's about why do people do the things that they do? You know, what drives certain behaviors? What drives someone to be awful to somebody else? Like I as a person deep down inside like niceness. I like people to be happy. I like to give to people. I love it when someone walks away with a smile on their face. What I was struck by when I joined this larger firm was just how unhappy people were and how awful people were to other people for their own gain. I'd never seen it in my whole life. And I've sold another business to a UK-based management consulting firm, and the behaviours were very different. So I kind of, at the end of the day, I thought to myself, I need to do something. I need something that helps me understand how people can be so awful to other people.
And has it? Do you have any insight that you can share?
I do. Yeah. So the only program in the world, though, that does this is NCED, that focuses on psychodynamics. So what psychodynamics are the unconscious behaviours, so the ways in which we develop as human beings in the formative years. So in the first 6 months of our life, the first 6 years, of our lives, we are essentially developed from a brain and connection perspective. So whatever happens during those periods are actually what forms our base. How secure we are, how we look at the world, how we're framed through culture, you know, through the surroundings, through the DNA of our family infrastructure, through, you know, the sort of intergenerational bits that are brought into our worlds. So a large part, what I've always known, because I grew up in and around the region, travelled a lot as a child because both my parents divorced and lived in different parts of Asia, and I was at boarding school in Australia. So I've always known that culture clearly plays a huge role, because I've done a lot of business in Hong Kong, Singapore, China as well. And I've always thought about, you know, how I manage the way I present to make sure that I am well received on the other end, depending on where you're coming from, you know. So that's been a big part of, and respect has been a very big part of my own DNA. So I knew that culture was very important. But the other bit in relation to NCED and Singapore and this piece around psychodynamics was that the way that they pull a program together, they bring together multiple cultures. So I was the only Australian. You know, there were representatives from every major country. I mean, it's extraordinary. And so then what happens is that based on our early life, so our unrecognized, because it's often unconscious, we are triggered by things based on what we have set, what our paths have been set. What triggers me is not going to trigger, you know, you guys, and vice versa. I wanted to see how that dynamic played out with different cultures. And it's really, really interesting. So, for example, you can have, and we tested some of this stuff, again, without setting it up, but the professors had this coutured all the time. So you have someone from Japan sitting next to someone, or someone from China with someone from Taiwan, right? And you understand the intergenerational traumas that have happened in families, or between Korea and Japan, and they're not conscious. But you look at their body language and there is an immediate discomfort. Not through someone going, I don't like you, but it's an immediate...
I'm not supposed to like you.
That's exactly right. And it's not that I don't like you. It's just that but people can't consciously share this because they don't actually know about it until you start to understand it. And then you sort of go, oh, right. So, and then I lost people off X and my family happened here and this. And it wasn't until we did all the generational work that people started to have aha moments as to why they were triggered in different situations and circumstances. Wow. So then you start to go, if you're going to put, at most large multinationals, 50,000 people across multiple cultures together, and you want to run a transformation program and you apply the same methodology and you wonder why things are not
doesn't work.
I mean, it's just like it starts to become 101, right? And then you look at, how a culture is set at the top, and then how expected behaviours might come, let's say, from the, east coast of the US, and how that then forms the way that decisions are made or how people speak to other people. And then how all of a sudden, to someone like me who's been brought up in a very different, is quite shocked by the language, the behaviour, the treatment of different genders or preferences, or cultures, and so it's actually something that every human should be taught. And frankly, in my view, is something that should be part of a prerequisite of an HR degree or program. Because if you don't understand that stuff, how are we ever going to find solutions or I haven't got the right word for this because I don't want to use leverage, but work more collaboratively. And I mean, I have a particular issue, as I know that Oriel, we talk about this a bit too, the way that Australia doesn't actually embrace, to the degree it should, our neighbours, across the Asia Pacific. I mean, the smarts and the power of us actually understanding these cultures and what they could bring to this country.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah.
It's sort of, so it was driven by the need to know myself better. It was driven by my need to know why other people are doing their things, so I could make sense of how people could be so awful, frankly.
Did you work that out? Like, because this experience that you're talking about wasn't that long ago, was it? I mean, did you actually work out, like, over the course of this study, why these people behaved like they did?
So, through great fortune, I had no lack of content. Let's put that.
Yes.
I saw my papers and different bits and pieces. What I did do, so I did, you can never work out why someone did or said something. But what I can say is that I feel sorry for those people.
Yeah.
So there are some particular people who targeted me in a way that I never, ever understood. I can now say confidently, happily and comfortably that it's actually on them. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I'm a great target because I do work very hard and I am sensitive and I am somewhat insecure, like a lot of people are. So great target, and often, the anger toward you or toward us as human beings is not actually about us. It's all about that person, and about their insecurities and about the things that we are doing, knowingly or unknowingly, that are triggering things inside them because of their own weaknesses.
Well, you built a company that was incredible enough that they bought it.
Yeah.
You know, so they wanted what you built.
Yeah.
But then were threatened, possibly. I don't know whether that's the right word. It feels like it fits.
Well, is it just with, you know, a bigger acquisition coming in over the top that it's their way and they know better, and don't, even though we like what you've done, it's now ours, and you're going to be a thorn in their side.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, could gender too?
I
think
honestly,
gender would play a part.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the intent is always positive, always, right? You don't do things if you genuinely don't think they're going to work. So, but what I do know, and I did share this pre-acquisition, but, you know, again, what would she know? That the value in entrepreneurs is actually in what they're actually doing and enabling them to do what they do. It's not actually then trying to push them into a little square hole.
Control.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen this, it's been done time and time again. You know, just another example of it. And I know, and I can confidently and happily say to you, I am not the person to build a massive company. That's just not what I do. I like being on the tools. I like building a medium-sized company where I'm actively involved because I like solving problems. I am not going to be useful to you if you want me to sit in an office and manage huge numbers of people. That is actually not what I do. You know, so why would you, that's just dumb. You know, you watch how someone works, you want that. So the best way to actually have that is to just let that continue.
Yeah.
And invest in that.
Yeah.
Add resources to that so that can just then replicate.
Yeah.
But in most acquisitions, and this is where the change aspect of my degree came into play, most organizations, the greatest failure is the integration component.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They just want them to all then behave like them, and they're two different worlds, two different cultures, two different ways of behavior. You know, I mean, it's as silly as saying, well, our global leadership meeting is at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. You either come or you don't come. What do you mean you come or you don't come? No. So that's what it started at 1 and then it went to 3 a.m. depending on time zones and stuff. But that's not actually demonstrating an interest in being in having people, your leadership team as one team to collaborate and share views. That actually says we actually don't care about what your view is, and you either like it or lump, or couldn't care less about your health. Because if you turn up at 2 or 3 every Monday, that is just not a sustainable way to
run a business.
Live your life.
No.
Sleep.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, these are the sort of things that just make absolutely no sense. And I'm sharing this very openly because this is just so common. Yeah. This happens everywhere. Yeah.
It's incredibly common, and I think you know, it's really interesting insight to have the human behavior and that element behind it, to actually then what your take out of it is that it wasn't about you. And I think I've been in a situation very similar under an acquisition, and it's hard not to take that personally when you have put all that work into building what you've built as a team, as a culture that is on board and moving forward. And then this, you know, the big wigs at the top will make the decisions. And I mean, at the end of it, the fish rots from the head down, right? So that arrogance that can come over the top, and it's demoralizing, and it sucks the soul out of people that have been, and so for you to have that takeaway after that work you've done to go, it's actually not personal. It's not me. This is such a deep-seated cultural problem that exists in humans. I mean, great, but also somewhat depressing, Anna, because how do we see change in the world, and how does this look better for the future? You
know what, Marissa, and I need to be clear on this. I was broken.
I'm sure. Yes.
You know, I've had a lot of health issues. My left eardrum, I had to have it completely reconstructed because I had 3 major infections in the same year, which then meant that I lost hearing in my left ear.
Ugh.
And, you know, but this is what stress does to the human body, which is, again, leads to, you know, a lot of the work that I'm doing now, which really, really interests me, because we internalize this. But the other bit too that I think is really important to note, and for you too, given your situation and what you've been through, that's actually the plan. So that's what these companies do. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, you know, my lawyer and counselor, they're like, gee, this is like, that's the program. You know? So you learn to understand that this is how it works. You're the pawn on this occasion. You either fight it, which I did, and won. So I'm really glad that I did that. But it nearly killed me, you know. And so you have to be in a position where you're going to take a decision to either stand up for yourself and do that, or just as much courage to go, actually, I'm going to walk away, because we can't change that. You know, because they have done it to billions of people. The number of women that reached out to me privately post my situation, because it was public, I mean, no words. And the people that you never hear about or you never hear from. But it happens all the time. So to your next point too about, well, you know, how's this going to change, and how do we? I actually think it's getting worse because of what we're seeing geopolitically from a leadership perspective. We have a power that is starting to replicate and filter through other systems and societies. Yeah. It actually is on us now as leaders, women, mothers, partners, etc., to set the value and the boundaries in our own worlds, and to make decisions for ourselves, for those who we decide to hang with or do things. Do you know what I mean?
Partner with, and absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a really...
So you're in the process right now of, like, you started again, you're building another business now. What has your experience then taught you about when your business is at the right size and you're ready to let it go? What has your experience taught you about that? Would you sell another business? Would you just...
She's shaking her head.
No, never. Interesting. But you're still building one. You're building it for you.
I'm just doing my thing. I kind of can't help it, right? So I have, and I've changed. So I have two parts to my thing, you know, and I two of my team have left and are now working with me again. And I wouldn't have, I wouldn't, but I love them and I love working with them. And so I didn't plan. I was just going to start to do my thing, because I'm the breadwinner in my family. I still have two kids at school, you know, and so for me, I love working. So that was the other thing that I found just so strange. How could this go so terribly wrong when I actually love what I do as well? It's like I'm looking for a windfall to get out, right? I'm in this because I want to build something bigger and better. So I'm using all of that now to my advantage to go, okay, well, I have this incredible knowledge of experience. I've always worked globally. The world is in the most unstable position that it has been in for a very, very long time. How do we help organizations in this environment? There have been a number of opportunities that have come up for me to join others or join forces or think about how I do what I do. But I simply, what I understand now, which is also different, is that the economics don't work. If you want to do very special work that allows you to operate at the most senior level with you cannot do that as part of a massive enterprise, you know. And so the benefits of being nimble and small and selective. So the other thing that makes my skin crawl is me having to work with people or an organization that does not align to my own values. I cannot ever do that again. Because that is actually what will kill me. It's not the other things in life. It's actually the way that people can beat you down, you know. And so having choice and having an ability to be present in a good way is actually far outweighs my desire to be the wealthiest person that I could be financially. I could do that and make 2 or 3 times what I can probably make otherwise, but my family will have divorced me if I'd stayed in the company. I wouldn't.
Yeah, because at what cost? At what cost, right? And I think, you know, people learn that over their years, and that comes with wisdom to understand, you know, the values that you have in yourself and the values that you have in an organization and how they misalign, and what amount of money is worth that, and what that means for your person and your people around you. It's fascinating. Look, I think we have to wrap up, but I could keep talking to Anna for so long.
Oh my God, Anna, we've only scratched the surface.
Yes.
Riding together.
Yes. When are we horse riding together, Anna? Bring it on.
When you come up to Queensland.
You can, when I meet my new horse, you can come and have a little ride and vet as well.
I can tell it's around the corner.
Thank you. I feel appreciative. Yeah. Give me all the good horsey vibes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. That was such an amazing, interesting,
we've honestly
dynamic conversation.
Just scratched the surface. So we're going to just get you to come back, and I'm going to put you on the spot so you can say yes now. Anna, thank you. And we will get you back on, because there is so much more to talk about.
And thank you everyone for joining us.
And we're sending you good vibes for Tuesday.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.